have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
In early 2020, the world shut down. Stores, restaurants, schools, and whole communities shut their doors in an effort to protect human life. As the world quickly changed, one man went on Facebook to get a degree in internet epidemiology. Bryan, along with his lab assistant Hoadley, are curing coronavirus by commenting on fake news and reposting recipes of secret virus cures from a friend of a friend who works high up in government. Join Bryan and Hoadley as they discuss the world and life during this forced interruption. Learning, laughing, and loving in this real-life commercial break. On this episode of The Commercial Break.
I couldn't be away from the microphone of my good friend Chrissy Hoadley for too long. I missed you. And the truth is I'm going fucking insane.
It was wonderful. When we first got down there, we saw right away, it rained a little bit, and all of a sudden a double rainbow appeared in the sky.
It's a double rainbow!
It's a double rainbow!
And I said, hey, doctor, I think I'm going to need a bigger, thing for my head. I'm going to need a bigger covering for my head. And he says, I don't think you're going to need a bigger covering for your head. I'm sure those are going to fit your feet just fine.
You were trying to put the booties?
I was trying to put the booties on my head.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Check your microphone. Check a microphone. Check your microphone. Check your microphone.
Check your head.
Check your head. Since I'm producing this live, right? Which is the first time that we've done this. So now I actually have the music in the background where most of the times I just drop it in.
Right.
And it's funky. You got the funky flute playing in the background.
No, it's almost kind of Saturday Night Live-ish.
It is a little bit, isn't it? It's like welcoming you into the program with high energy and a little bit of it's going to be quirky. Whatever you're about to listen to is going to be quirky and funny, and the host is going to be incredibly sexy.
The flute adds flair.
Yes. Don't let the flute add flair. I've got some flute flair coming right up on The Commercial Break.
It's jazz flute.
It's jazz flute. I don't even know that's jazz flute. That's like funk flute.
That is.
Yeah. Welcome back to The Commercial Break. I'm Bryan. This is my good friend Chrissy Hoadley. Episode number 15. We're just plowing through these episodes. We were supposed to take a vacation, but we just didn't even take a vacation. I feel like we took 3 days off and now we're right back to it. But I couldn't be away from the microphone of my good friend Chrissy Hoadley for too long. I missed you. And the truth is I'm going fucking insane in this house in the pandemic with a brand new child and an old child. I got a brand new child and then I got an old child. I got the new model that came in, and then I got the old model that's still here.
The used.
That's right. TCBpodcast.com is where you can go to find all the show notes, find out more about Chrissy and I, drop us an email, and let us know what you'd like to hear on the show. Leave comments, feedbacks, or questions, and every once in a blue moon, we'll do a show just dedicated to emails. And I think that one's going to come up soon. I'd like to do that because we're stacking up, and I don't want them to get too old. I want fresh emails when we do this. Totally. Just be mindful. Great. Bryan likes fresh. And that's why. Fresh. Yeah, that's why last week I had this whole spiel about how we were going to be off for a couple weeks, and there may not be fresh episodes, and you might hear something that's dated, and then we're gone for one fucking week, and we're back. Because Bryan can't figure out how to work the fucking audio, and so all the episodes that we recorded are now shit. But that's okay. Fear not, my friends. What does Sean Hannity say? Let not your heart be troubled. Of course, Sean. You're a multi-million-dollar TV host. What is there to worry about? Yeah. I think so. Let not your heart be troubled, or something like that. Or maybe that's Rush Limbaugh. I don't know.
He's got some trouble right now. He's being sued.
Oh, is he? Yeah, but I'm sure that's
sexual harassment.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're at Fox News and you're sued for sexual harassment, that's just like welcome to the club.
Day. Yeah.
I mean, I think that whole TV newsroom was built on sexual harassment. It's like a restaurant full of children, and they're just all running around touching each other.
Yes.
Something like that.
A restaurant full of children.
I know. Hey, I want to thank everybody who's joined the break room on the website. We've got quite a few people that signed up, and I think that's super exciting. Now we have to go do the work. You're making us work. We don't make any money on this podcast, and now we actually have to go to work. But I've got some good ideas, so I guess that's the... But I have a lot of great ideas in my life that I just never have executed on. So I hope the break room is one I follow through on.
We're going to realize all of your dreams here at the commercial break.
Making your dreams come true. Little Timmy broke his leg and wants to go to Disney World. I haven't slept in 72 hours because of my child, and unfortunately the break room will not be giving out Disney World vacations anytime soon. You don't want to go to Disney World in the middle of a pandemic anyway. But there's lots of people that are down there. And
there are. Yeah, I'm surprised.
I'm a Disney fan.
I'm not.
I love it. I love Disney. But I read today that Disney expected there to be very high demand for all of their, shit. And all of a sudden, it's not so demandy down there. Like even though they've ratcheted down their the amount of people that can come in, the attendance level to like 15 or 20%, which is just amazing. If you went to Disney World and there was only 15% capacity, in my opinion, that's like a dream fucking come true, because you pay a lot of money to go down there and then you have to wait 10 hours to get on any ride that's worth a shit. Right. But, but even with the 15 or 20% ratchet down in attendance, they still don't have much demand to go down there. I guess I'm happy that people are smart enough to know that Disney World is probably not where you want to be in the middle of a fucking pandemic. But, listen, to each their own, Hoadley, to each their own.
That is very true.
To each their own.
Brian.
To each their own.
Yeah, I think you can't, like the characters and things that come out and hug the kids and whatever, you have to stay away from them.
Yeah, now there's no more touching.
Yep.
It's like the Fox newsroom. There's no more touching. So back to, I'm thanking everybody that joined the break room. So you can go to the website. There's a big button there that says join the break room. Drop your name and your email address and subscribe to what we're calling a monthly newsletter, a monthly club. And you'll get access to our live shows, monthly newsletter with behind the scenes content, and an extra free, no charge hour of content only available to those who subscribe to the break room. And I want to explain something. And I think Astrid and I were talking about this, and I think this is good to share with the audience here. We don't charge anything for the commercial break because we're smart enough to know that no one's going to pay for it anytime soon. So we're just doing this for fun. This is purely just for shits and giggles right now. We appreciate all the people around the world that are listening, but we don't have any intention to charge anytime soon. But there may come a day down the road when we have like a Patreon page, or I don't even know what that is. But whatever.
A founding member.
We're going to have an OnlyFans page. and for a $5 tip, Brian will take off his glasses. Yeah, I'll shave my beard. And so maybe someday comes when, like a lot of podcasts, there's like what they call gated content, and it's behind a wall. And if you pay, if you're like a donor of $5, you get this much content, or $10, you get that much content. Let me repeat, we're not doing that now. The break room's completely 100% free. But we had an idea, and I think this is a good one. For the next 100 people, there's already a bunch of people that have signed up, so those people are already included in what I'm about to say. But the next 100 people that go and sign up, we'll consider them like maybe founding members, right, of the break room. And so the next 100 people and the people who have so far signed up will be included in this founding membership, and they will never, ever, under any circumstances, no matter what we charge, they will never pay anything. So if you're one of the next 100 people that sign up to the break room, you will never be charged for free shows, for content, for whatever it is that we put behind a paywall, if we ever put it behind a paywall. And I thought that was a really cool thing to do, that Astrid had that idea. So go to tcbpodcast.com and join the break room, and there you go. And if you've already joined the break room, you're already included in that group of people. So like I said, the next 100 people. And so that would make, so let me do a little math in my head. I'm really good at math. 1 plus carry the 2 minus 3. If we add the next 100 people, that means that there would be 101 total people in the break room founding members. So we have 101 people.
101 people.
Did you follow my math there?
Yes.
So there's one person already signed up, plus the next 100 people. We'll have 101 people.
Perfect.
So join the break room, and you can go to all our social media and follow us there, and subscribe. It's like a podcast. No, subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes, and leave a review. It's like a podcast hug. Did you leave a review yet? You. Hoadley. Did you?
Have I left a review?
Have you left a review?
I didn't know if it was allowed for me to leave a review on our own podcast.
I think it's frowned upon. But if you leave a review, then that means we'll have 2 reviews, mine and yours.
Okay, I will absolutely leave a review, or I'll at the very least have Jeff leave a review.
Have Jeff make it just so no one gets crazy about anything, right? Just leave a review and click that little stars on whichever podcast platform you feel like you
There's so many out there, by the way.
I know.
I can't believe it. I had no idea until we started doing this podcast, because I've always listened to mine really through Apple, and then come to find out Spotify does them, and Podbean and Overcast and Stitcher and Castros and Castos. And there's a lot of Spotify is a big player in the marketplace right now. iHeartMedia, our former employer, is a big player. They say they're the number 1 podcasting platform in the world. Now, I don't know what that means, because I think Apple actually has a lion's share of the market, but Clear Channel and iHeartMedia, they're the same. I know they're the same. They say they're the number 1 podcasting platform out there, but I don't know that that's true. I don't know. I know they have Will Ferrell's The Ron Burgundy. Oh, they do? Like that's an original content to iHeartRadio? They always talk. Yeah, he always talks about it on his show, or kind of references it. And when you look at the actual podcast, it does say iHeart. So they must be producing. And they're a platform. Yeah, I never really thought of Will Ferrell as a Clear Channel kind of guy. But hey, listen, who's running that iHeartMedia now for the content? Our old guy, Chris. What's his name? Remember that guy Chris that used to run one of the radio stations? Oh, right. Yeah, he's over the content over there now. So you know what? I'll say this. I like that guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy's doing a good job. Yeah, so it's a successful company. Oh, successy company. Well, Mr. Although their festival was really kind of what catapulted them over the edge, and then I guess that's probably not going on right now. No, I don't think there's any festivals going on right now. No, there's not. I mean, they're talking 2022. I think that's probably correct, because even if you get there's some talk about I don't want to make this whole show about coronavirus yet again, right. But it's hard not. I know it's hard not to, but I hope that maybe some people come here and listen because they want to get away from coronavirus bullshit. Yes. But I will say this: I think that even if we do get a vaccine, and sounds like there's some promising vaccine trials going on. If we get a vaccine, then you have to produce whatever it is, 16.5 billion shots of this vaccine twice or 3 times, because they're saying it's going to be like a booster shot. You got to get it a couple times. Oh, wow. So, yeah, it's going to be a while. I mean, if, Bill Gates wants to get his software into your brain, you're going to have more than one shot. Exactly. Go to wayfair.com and buy children. People are going crazy, Hoadley. This pandemic got people going fucking nutty. I mean, for sure. Nutty. The things that are going on my Facebook page, it gets me so riled up, but I'm not going to talk about it because I just promised that I wouldn't make this all about coronavirus. So we'll skip it. So Hoadley and I are back from a little vacation. Like we said, we were going to take a couple weeks off, but here we are recording again. And what did you do during vacation? I took a little trip with the fam. That's right. That's right. Yeah, we went down to Amelia Island. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's a beautiful island in the northeast coast of Florida. Yes. Yeah, it's lovely gorgeous. Down there. It's lovely. Over 100 degrees, so it was very, very hot. Was it really over 100 degrees? Like the actual temperature was over 100 degrees? Whoa, shit, that's hot. Yeah, it was really hot. In that Florida humidity, that's hot. Yeah, but it was good, though. I mean, we were there at the beach. The beach was not crowded at all. I was a little worried about how, crowded the area was going to be down there, but everybody was very chill and relaxed and kept their distance, and it was wonderful. When we first got down there, we saw right away it rained a little bit, and all of a sudden a double rainbow appeared in the sky. It's a double rainbow. It's a double rainbow. I know, and I had never seen the video. Jeff, you've never seen the Hawaiian guy who's like, no. It's a double rainbow. It was so awesome. I took stuff and hit some acid. We watched the guy talking about the double rainbow as we were looking at the double rainbow. Oh, good for you. That is a dream come true. The quadruple rainbow. If I was one of those kids that had a wish, I'd be like, I want the double rainbow guy. When I see a double rainbow, just appear out of nowhere and be like, I'm the double rainbow. And also give me whatever fucking, concoction, fucking rainforest concoction he was drinking. Give me some of your ayahuasca.
Back away from the ayahuasca. That guy is great. So Amelia Island, no secret here. I've been there a bunch too. It's beautiful down there. Just absolutely gorgeous. And it is a quiet island. I think that's, Astrid and I have also been to the island. That's the one place we went besides my, in my family's house. That's the one place we've gone during the pandemic too. And it's absolutely gorgeous down there. And there's not a lot of, it's not a very crowded beach. There's a couple hotels down there and that's it. And so it's like, you go and there's plenty of space. It's like half a mile between you and the next person. It's, hey, how you doing?
It really is. Yeah, it was great.
Very slow, sleepy little island.
Yes, very nice. So
but you guys had a good time, huh?
We had an amazing time. We did witness a double homicide, though, unfortunately.
A double homicide?
It was a double homicide of a pair of flip-flops.
I thought shit was about to get real for a second. Like, you saw a double homicide on Amelia Island? I don't think there's ever been a homicide on Amelia Island. I think there's only 2 full-time residents. And they're both dogs.
Right.
What? Yeah. So what happened? What do you mean your flip-flops died?
Well, so the flip-flop story is that we all, there were 4 of us, we all went to the beach and we were heading to the beach and Jeff was up front and he decided to take his flip-flops off before we walked through the sand to go to our spot.
Like little wooden boardwalk to the sand and then sand to the beach. And then when you get off the wooden boardwalk, you're like, oh, take my flip-flop.
There were a couple other people that had done it too. And we had done it the night before when we first got in and went to the beach because it was cooler and it had been raining and the sand was fine. But Jeff takes off in the sand and quickly realizes that the sand is very, very hot.
Oh, no.
But he's already left the flip-flops up at the thing. So the girls and I kept ours on and we're fine walking through the sand. So we get there, we get set up. We have a great day at the beach. It's so nice. We just decide to pack up and head back in. And Jeff and I are walking and we kind of went ahead of the girls. They stayed down there. And so we were walking back up and it's increasingly getting hot on Jeff's feet.
Yeah, it's like it's 100 degrees. I mean, it's like that sand has got to be on fucking fire.
So we're almost up to the little dock thing, and Jeff is like, "Oh my god, like my feet are on fire."
Yeah, like I got to run and grab these sandals.
So he runs to the flip flops and sticks his feet in them.
And they're melted.
The flip flops were hotter than the sand. It's like, oh my god! He freaked out, goes taking off running like towards the grass, and goes, "Will you pick up my flip flops?"
I could see Jeff just taking like a face plant into the dune.
So I pick up the flip flops and they fell apart because they had completely melted into 2 parts. And I mean, I started laughing, and at the same time, I felt so bad for him because his feet literally were burned. I think, but I pick up the flip flops and they had melted.
Welcome to Florida. We're cooler than hell.
So hard. I started laughing so hard I actually peed myself.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm already in a bathing suit. I was like,
just let it fly.
So they died.
Oh my god! Poor flip flops. What are these, like a cheap piece of shit flip flops? Are these the real deal? What's going on?
They were nice. They were nice 18 years ago when he got
when you met him, when he was wearing them, when you met him.
He informed me later that they had lasted for 18 years.
Men are the worst. Hoadley. My wife has changed me 100%. But when I met my wife, I had the same flip flops I was wearing when I met you when I was wearing a Clear Channel. It's like,
years ago.
Yeah, they're just like, they're 0.5 millimeter thick because I've just worn them down to, I got back problems. My wife's like, I wonder why. You might as well be living in a fucking Mexican village with no shoes on. Oh, poor Jeff. I just have this vision of Jeff like dancing across the sand and then like jumping into the dune. Like ah!
I was crying.
My feet are hot
because I already felt bad for him. He was take off.
Then he has to go get a new pair of flip flops after 18 years.
Then I picked up the flip flops and they just melted. And I was like, oh my god. hot.
Oh, it really is hot out here. Florida's tagline is, well, at least it's cooler than hell. Florida, you can cook breakfast on your forehead.
Right.
I had an uncle. Like, we took this cross-country trip one time, and I wasn't an uncle. I was like a great uncle. And we went to Phoenix, Arizona. We took the trip in between school years. So like I don't know, what was it, my freshman and sophomore year or something. It's cross-country trip, 42 days in a car van with my family. And we stopped in Phoenix, Arizona to see a long-lost uncle of my father's, who's like my great uncle or whatever. And he lives in this Sun City West, which is the world's largest retirement community.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, they have one in Florida too, I think, in Sun City East. But so it's Sun City West, and there's 10,000 homes, and it's just like this village where all these retired people live in these small little homes, and it's the middle of the fucking desert. And I'll never forget, we got to the Embassy Suites where we were staying, and there was like a big thermometer sitting over the pool, and it said like 107, right? And I'd never seen anything like this. I was like, it's 107, and it was even too hot to go in the pool. Like, the pool water was so fucking hot, you didn't even want to go. There was not. My dad was like, we're not going in the pool. That's gonna boil your fucking nuts off, kid. Your nutbags are gonna fry, kid. And so we go over to my uncle's house, and I'll never forget this. It's this great uncle guy who I think was in World War II or something. He is wearing a fucking cardigan sweater with golf pants and shoes, and he is out back grilling on an open flame grill. And he's not, and there's like not a bead of sweat is coming off his forehead. And he keeps explaining to my father how it's a dry heat. Like, everyone says it's a dry heat.
Right, no humidity.
Like, fucking brain is rotted from the inside out. It's not a dry heat. It's fucking hot. 107 is 107. Yeah. When your shoes are melting, it's fucking hot.
Right.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yes, but overall, it was very nice. And hey, Jeff has a brand new pair of flip-flops, and they're awesome.
Well, listen, maybe it was time. Maybe it's just the universe telling Jeff it was time to get a new fucking pair of flip-flops.
The universe just burned them up. They burst into flames.
Well, and hey, you got a good laugh out of it, and you peed yourself. But don't feel bad, because you're not the only thing peeing itself around here. I had a daughter while we were gone.
Yes.
I did. I had a daughter.
Aww,
that was
sweet baby.
That was interesting. It was interesting to have a baby in the time of the pandemic. I mean, listen, anytime you have a baby, it's interesting. Right. It's interesting. It's not like it's a run of the mill, unless you're that lady who has 18 kids and counting or whatever it is.
Yes.
But we had the baby, and so Astrid had a planned C-section. It was like at 10:45 in the morning. And they want you to be there at like 8:45 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning. So we get up early. We didn't sleep. The kids and the dogs went away the day before. Like the dogs went to the play place, and my parents took Matthias, who's my son. And so everyone was away. So my wife and I were actually alone for the first time in a long time in our own house. But of course, it's just like we're just packing and getting ready, and then neither of us really slept.
Anticipation.
Yeah, you're just kind of tossing and turning. I mean, I think I got a few hours of sleep. So we get up and just everything calm and chill, just trying to keep it cool. Like, everything's fine. Yeah. Gonna have a baby. They're gonna cut you wide open, 7 layers deep. They're gonna push a baby out of this small incision in your stomach that's gonna take months for you to recover from. And we get to the hospital, and there's it's a huge hospital, and it's the most, it's the busiest birthing center in the world, is this hospital that we go to here in Atlanta. Yes. And so they have like 200 babies a day or something like that come out of this hospital, and 7 stories, and it's all.
Wow.
So we get there, and you have to check in to kind of the front and check in, and they want to make sure you're going to pay them and all that other good stuff. Yes. And so the lady says, yeah, okay, you're all good to go. Just sit, and then a nurse is going to come back and get you. And the last time that we had a baby, Astrid was in active labor when we got in there. So we didn't wait for anything. We just kind of went straight back, and they got her a room. Right. We go and we sit down, and all of a sudden the security guard wheels this lady up and kind of sits her right in front of us, right? I mean, it's like a huge waiting room. And the security guard wheels this lady up who's holding a bag, holding her purse, obviously incredibly pregnant, and just wheels her and sticks her about 6 feet in front of us. Huh. And I look at Astrid, and Astrid looks at me, and, she doesn't even look at us. She's just like staring straight down at the bag. And I thought, oh, well, I hope she's okay, right? Maybe she's getting ready to have a C-section too, right? Maybe they're just willing her. Then all of a sudden it's like, God, what? Is that coming from that lady? Her mouth wasn't open, right? And I was like, Astrid, is that coming from that lady? And she's like, oh my God, I think that lady's like in labor. And then just like, ah! And I was like, oh my God, this lady's poor lady. Like somebody help this fucking lady. She's dying here.
Right. She's in pain.
The lady's just at the front desk, just writing shit down, paying no attention to her. And this poor lady is like, I mean, you can tell now her head looks like it's about to pop. It's like purple, right? She's like screaming in pain, but under her breath, I think she's trying to hold it in.
Whoa.
Her, I am assuming husband or significant other, finally walks his ass into the waiting room after about 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm assuming this is how it went. Here, honey, get out of the car. I'm going to go park. Happens a lot. Okay. He comes in after 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. It felt like forever because this lady was moaning under her breath. I mean, It was so fucking strange. And here comes this guy, and he stands about 10 feet away from his wife. I'm assuming it's his wife, right? Because he said, hey, I got the bag. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Hoadley. Jeez. It was the most disturbing thing that I've seen. And I watched my wife give birth, right? And my wife wasn't making noises like this. This lady was like in active labor about to give fucking birth. And here she is screaming in the middle of this hallway. And her husband is like standing away from her as if she has coronavirus and he doesn't want it. What a fucking asshole. It was really weird, really strange. So then they get us back to like the room, right? They put us in a pre-op room, super nice.
Did you see the lady get some help?
I did not, actually. They just kind of grabbed us and they said, here, come on. And I can't remember if Astrid said something or somebody said something about, hey, that lady. But I mean, I'm sure they see this all the time. This is probably like, hey, she's giving birth. She's in the right place. What do you want us to do? We're getting a room ready. Yeah, what do you want us to do? She's here at the birthing center. Yeah.
At the hospital.
It's my son. He's sick. Yeah, you're at a hospital. It's gonna be okay. Like people have you ever been in an emergency room and it's like, my husband is sitting here and he is in pain. And it's like, yeah, he's at the hospital. Everything's gonna be fine, man. Right. You came to the right place. They take us back to this room and this lady's like, she's like, okay, Astrid, you put this garb on. And then, Dad, you're going to put this garb on, which is like this huge blue overcoat, as if I was going into a Beastie Boys video or something. Zip up. So it's this whole package that she puts together, and it's a big blue zip coat, right? And it covers me completely. And then there's a mask, and then there's 2 separate head things to go across your head.
Right.
So they're white and they're pretty heavy duty. So so as I'm getting dressed and putting this on, the doctor comes in and, hey, it's going to be good. We're going to have a good birth, okay, great. And I'm trying to, a little pep talk. And I'm trying to stick this thing over my head. And I said, hey, doctor, I think I'm going to need a bigger, thing for my head. I'm going to need a bigger covering for my head. And he says, I don't think you're going to need a bigger covering for your head. I'm sure those are going to fit your feet just fine. I was trying to put the booties on my head. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together. There was like a left one and a right one. Right. What do I do, Doc? Do I stitch these together?
Do I tape them?
Do they go for my ears? Is that what the right and the left one for? Are they mittens? Are they mittens? Oh wow. My God. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's a funny mistake to make. I mean, I'm sure you were kind of out of sorts, and
I felt like I was pretty with it. Actually, I found myself relatively and strangely calm during this whole process. Like I thought I would be a little more freaked out than I was, but they get you back, and so once the epidural comes, like the epidural is like a whole fucking process, and so. The last epidural that my wife got, the doctor came in right when it was like, she was feeling enough pain that it was time for epidural. So she gave regular vaginal labor last time. So when the anesthetician came in, it was a lady and she had an assistant with her, but it was me, Astrid, and the 2 the anesthetist. Do you call him anesthetist, or is that who takes care of your fingernails? Yeah, anesthetician. Anesthesiologist.
Anesthesiologist.
The anesthetist. Yes. The lady who's removing hair from your vagina comes in and it's just me. And
that's an esthetician.
That's an esthetician? What is an esthetician?
An esthetician is somebody who does facials and does, hair removal and Not as much schooling is involved.
More proof to anybody who listens to this podcast that you should never take anything I say with a degree of seriousness, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So the anesthesiologist and her assistant is there on the first birth, and I actually helped keep Astrid steady while they put it in, right? So I was right there. I watched the whole thing. It was rather disturbing. It's just as disturbing as described. It's a huge needle that they stick right directly in between two of your vertebrae. Ooh. But this time, a whole crew came in, like 2 nurses, 2 anesthesiologists, somebody else. And then they kicked the doctor's chair across the room. And when the anesthesiologist, like the head guy, who was like, no joke, he didn't have a bit of sense of humor whatsoever. He just kind of kicked the chair and he goes, okay, Dad, you're going to sit there and don't move. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. Can't watch, hold my wife's hand or something. And he was like, stay there, stay right there. Right. And so later on, I learned that they now have it in practice that the dads have to sit on the other side of the room, because too many of them, while holding the wife's hand or while watching or while looking, will pass out and cause, like, you don't want to move while someone's sticking a needle in the back of your fucking vertebrae.
That
so
makes sense.
Dads pass out all the time when they're watching this process happen. And apparently now it's like you have to sit on the opposite side of the room or leave the room, one of the two. But they need to do their job and they don't want any danger. So I sat there, and once it was very calm until the anesthesiologist put the epidural in, and then it was like showtime, right?
Right.
They quickly made sure that she was numb, and then the doctor comes in and he says, hey, listen, I'm going to go in, I'm going to prep your wife. There's going to be a bunch of people in the operating room. You're going to sit outside on a chair, and when we're ready to go, I'm going to come get you. It'll be about 10, 15 minutes. And so there's this weird, strange time where there's about 10 to 15 minutes sitting right outside the operating room when it's just me with my thoughts. There's no one else, no one else around, right? It's just me and my thoughts. And the only thing I could think of is how we get more subscribers to the break room. So I thought that...
I think you were texting me while you were in the hospital.
I think I might have been. No, I'm kidding. I took a few minutes and I'm like, wow, it's really weird. Like I'm going to have another life to take care of here in just like in a millisecond. But then also, I hope everything goes okay, right? Because I watched how many people walked into the room and I realized just how serious this is. So then these two really nice, I'm assuming Nigerian men, because that sounded like the accent they had. 2 Nigerian men, one really tall, one really short, come over. They're all dressed up and they said, hello, Bryan. Yeah, I'm going to be, you dad. Okay, man, you're going to be a baby. You're going to have a baby. Congratulations. We are the baby technicians and we're going to take care, right? And I was like, take care of what? And he's like, we take care of the babies. As soon as they come out, we're going to take the baby for 10 minutes and then I'm going to give them back to you. I promise, right? And he's like, but I don't want you to worry about anything. Standard protocol, all good. And I was like,
to get them cleaned up and everything.
Okay, yeah, because, when you have a C-section, when you have a regular birth, the baby has time to cough out all the bullshit. And it's a process. Like their rib cage is squeezed while they're going through the vagina. We're giving...
Right.
I'm
birthing
giving...
canal.
Yes, I'm now a phlebotomist giving a lesson on how babies work. So they can cough out all that bullshit.
With the help of an esthetician.
With the help of an esthetist. So, but when you have a C-section, it's not quite prime time. Like the baby's not ready. Oh, here's the strange thing too, is that actually Astrid on the way to the hospital says, I think I'm having a contraction. And when they hooked her up to the machine, when we got to the hospital, she was having contractions. The baby was coming anyway.
Oh, wow.
So, and they were low and slow. So, I mean, it could have been a day or 2 or 3 or whatever, but the baby was she was making her way out, right? One way or the other, she was coming.
She was ready.
So 15 minutes go. So the guys go in there and I say, okay, whatever. I guess that sounds good. And, 15 minutes go by. And then one of the doctors comes out and says, okay, it's showtime. I want you to put your hands in the air, walk straight back to where your wife is, and sit with her. Right. And so I walk into the room and Astrid's feet are at one end and her head's at the other. And there's a big screen across her chest, really the top of her chest. So I walk in and I walk past her belly. And as I walk, there's just a little, there's a drape with a little hole cut out where her belly button is. And they're putting iodine around it. Right. And so I sit next to Astrid, and the anesthesiologist's assistant is now standing there, and he's really nice and helpful. He says, I'm going to tell you everything that's going on. Don't worry. I'll walk you through the entire thing. I'll watch so you don't have to, right? And we're like, okay, great. And so, Hoadley, when I say this, I'm not even kidding. I sat down, and 2.5 minutes later, I had a child. It happened so incredibly quickly. And I guess maybe that's how it's designed to happen. Like it's supposed to happen very quickly. So there's, not a lot of trauma to the baby or the mama. But I couldn't believe how quick we had been told 45 minutes. It happened in 2. It happened so quickly.
Wow.
And it was just so strange. So when you could kind of tell what was going on, but I couldn't see anything. So I just stared at Astrid, and both of us are, tears in our eyes, and we're going to have a baby and all this. And you can hear the doctor say, okay, she's coming out. Do you want to see? Daddy, Papa, do you want to see? Right? And I told myself, if I was given this option, I would not look because we talked about this, right?
Yes.
But like a fucking idiot, just like when they asked me this with the vaginal birth,
right?
It's like a fucking reaction. I said, no, I don't think so, as I was standing up, right? I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I stand up and I was like, oh my God. I actually just saw them pulling the baby out, like her feet coming out. Yeah. And it's like, it was the most amazing thing in the world. So here we are. Now we have a new baby. Wow. The baby's crying right off the bat. So that's good sign.
Yeah,
everything's
that's a good sign.
Healthy. Everyone's doing good, right? The baby's crying. And so they hold the baby, they take a little piece of the plastic down and they hold the baby up. They don't want you to touch it before they, do whatever they're going to do to it. Mm-hmm. But they show the baby, healthy baby girl. Yeah, everyone's happy, right? Mama and baby are doing really well. I couldn't believe how incredibly quickly this happened. Really quickly. And they stitched her up really quickly. I went with the baby and they stitched her up and the baby was good.
At that hospital.
Yeah. Well, listen, 200 a day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. And our OBGYN is one of the most busy OBGYNs in the country. And so they're really known for doing this and doing it professionally. So we have a little baby girl and she's just beautiful. Aww. And for the most part, Astrid did good, except, she has this bad happen. She has syncope. Do you know what syncope is?
No, I don't.
It's like low blood pressure, right? Oh, and it's not bad low blood pressure. It's just lower blood pressure than the normal human being, right? It's like on the low end of blood pressure. And so she's prone to, if she's sick or on medication or whatever, she's prone to passing out. And passing out is a very scary thing if you've ever seen it for real. And so
not like a drunk pass.
No. Not like a drunk, like I just fell asleep on the bar, but like you're going down like a fucking log that has just been cut, right?
Right.
Your color comes out of your face and you just go down and you hit the deck. And Astrid likes to do that to me. And it was, I had to pull like the emergency red cord in the room. We're there for like 5 days afterwards. So I had to pull that cord a couple of times. And I'll tell you what, those girls were there fast, man. They came fucking quick. They came like fire. I pulled that cord and it was like a second later when someone was busting through that door. Where is she? And they're all like, there's so many great nurses that were there. And I wish I could say all their names on air, but I don't want to embarrass them or, I don't have their permission to say their names on air.
Nobody's listening.
Yeah, that's true. Probably the only people who are listening are Astrid and her mother. We are 199 listeners away from 200 listeners.
Yes.
Yay! We're now celebrating our third listener. Yay!
I love it.
So but a lot of the ladies that were there, that worked there, they were from a different country, right? Jamaica or Nigeria or Brasilia. I just said the fucking word. What's going on with you, Bryan? This is what happens when you don't have sleep for like 2 weeks straight.
Yes. It's okay.
And my little baby, and so they're from different countries and they come here and they work miracles and they're so loving and wonderful. And I just got to say thank you to all of them if they're listening.
Oh,
I told them about
the process.
I told them about my podcast. I said, hey, listen to the commercial break, and a few of them didn't show up for the next shift. They were like, oh no, that lady called out sick. Are you sure you don't want to leave today? We're giving you a discount on your bill. Do you have a room where I could record?
Right. I've got my gear with me.
As poor Astrid, she's on her back and she's like all cut up and like, doped up on morphine. And I'm like, what do you think about this idea for the podcast? She's like, you better get a real job. You got another kid now.
This is a real job. They're going to pay us someday.
Oh, well, congratulations
thank you.
to
The baby's
you
here.
and Astrid.
Yeah, but the baby doesn't have any bladder control. The baby has peed more in my hand than she has in a diaper. The equipment's different. I don't know if they tell you this in school, but the equipment's different for the men and the women, for the boys and the girls.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, the boys, they can shoot across the room. They can shoot across the room on a Tuesday. The girls just kind of trickle out, and when I'm changing the baby, it's just she always seems to. Maybe it's my warm hands, and she's just like, "Oh, it's time to pee."
That's she's associated changing with time to pee,
and she's also getting used to using her stomach, like her anus. So she's got anus control problems. She's a magic anus worker.
That goes on for a little while.
It does. They have to get used to real food.
Yes.
So anyway, there's my break. I took a break. I had a baby. Here she is, and she's just thank you very much. So now I got to raise her.
Yes. Yeah. Now you do.
I told her. I said, "Well, you're shitting. You're shitting solid. Now you got to pay rent." That's how it works.
That's right. The Green household.
Oh, speaking of passing out, so the day after we got back from the hospital, I went to FedEx to mail something out, and I'm standing at the FedEx line, and there is a guy and a guy and a teenage guy and a teenage girl that are standing there, and they're mailing out a package, and I'm just kind of behind them waiting like 6 feet, and they don't have masks on. It's not the point of the story, but they don't have masks on. And the other lady standing next to them doesn't have a mask on. But as I'm watching the guy, he's talking to the lady, having a conversation with her. I watch as the young girl, who's very skinny and tall, right? And her hair's dyed blue, but, kind of young, like I would say 15 years old. I watch as whatever color was in her face goes away. And she kind of crumped down on one arm onto really quickly, just kind of fell down onto her elbow onto the counter. And then all of a sudden, and I knew something was wrong. I was like, oh, but no one kind of noticed, right? Even the guy that was with her just kind of looked at her and then started talking again. And then I was like, oh. And then the elbow came out from under her, and she went head first into the counter and then fell straight backwards onto the back of her head. Passed out fucking cold, Hoadley. I mean, cold. Like, Astrid and I we woke up with some smelling salts. This girl was out like a fucking light. I mean, we couldn't wake her up. I'm snapping my fingers, smacking her face. I mean, this poor girl was out. And then when she wakes up, and you could tell, they reeked of pot, reeked of marijuana. So I thought to myself, this girl is just really high, right? She's really high, and she knocked herself out. She got too high for her skinny little frame, and she's not used to it. And so I asked the guy that she's with, the FedEx people are scrambling around. One of them says, I'm a retired nurse, so let me help. Oh. And so she runs back to grab whatever a cold cloth or something. And I'm trying to wake this girl up. She's in and out of consciousness. And I turn to the kid and I go, hey man, y'all been smoking weed? I'm not a cop. I'm just asking because that may explain what's going on here. And he's like, no, never touched this. What? Weed? No, we don't smoke that. I never smoked weed in my entire life. And I'm like, you fucking dipshit. Your friend just fucking smacked her head. And she was bleeding too. And I'm like, your friend just fucking smacked her head. Come on, man. No one cares about the weed. Yeah. But, it's just weird that 3 days in a row, I'm watching some people pass out.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think it's me and my good looks?
It is. Now you can recognize the signs.
Some people, I'm I feel like I'm like a Harrison Ford. I get better with age.
You're exactly like Harrison Ford, Bryan. Exactly.
Oh my God. So anyway, that was my that was my vacation, quote unquote, my vacation. Hey, did you see that? Did you see that Trump tweeted out wear a mask? Did you see that?
I did see that.
Isn't that amazing?
See that yesterday, and then he showed up to an event last night with no mask. So. Boom.
Listen, that's Trump for you. He likes to stoke the fire. When I saw that tweet go out and I saw the picture, I feel like I heard a million Facebook posts being deleted at one time. I could hear it, the suck of Facebook posts being deleted. Well, I guess I get a bit of egg on my face. Honestly, I don't care how he gets there, and I don't care if you're late to the party. It's okay with me.
It is. It's got to be done. We got to change it. We got to get this controlled.
And there's only one of two ways to do that. you know what one of those two ways is. We can hire an anesthetician to figure out the problem. Or we can wear masks. And so
or both.
I'm going to get a degree in internet anesthesiology.
Perfect.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on here last minute and having a rap with me.
I missed you.
Yeah, I miss you too. I know it's been too long. So, okay, we'll come back with another episode next week. Make sure you go to tcbpodcast.com to find out more about the show, read show notes, all that good stuff at The Commercial Break, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're all there. Please join there and subscribe. If you like the show, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whichever it may be. And we want to say hello to all of our listeners out there internationally. We didn't get to say hello to specific countries today, but Estonia is back, by the way. More people listening from Estonia. So
I love
cheers.
Estonia.
Yeah, I love Estonia too. It's a beautiful country. Like you look at pictures and you're like, wow, it's really pretty in Estonia.
It is.
Maybe someone will pay for us to go there.
Yes.
When we have an OnlyFans page. Next 100 people who sign up to the break room at tcbpodcast.com. Next 100 people will be part of the founding members, and you will never pay for anything that we charge for as far as content is concerned. Ever. You will be in on the ground floor. I will consider you a close personal friend of mine. So the next 100 people, and that will mean I have 101 close personal friends, Hoadley, and the 100 people who join the break room. So thank you very much. And what can I say? What else is there to say? Wear a fucking mask. I love you.
Well, I love you too, Bryan.
We'll see you next week on The Commercial Break. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Email us at thecommercialb@gmail.com. Find us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Commercial Break. New episodes drop every Wednesday. We can be found on Spotify, iHeartMedia, Apple, Google, and all major podcast providers. The Commercial Break is a great middleweight production. Written and produced by Brian Green. Co-hosted by Chrissy Hoadley.